Good day to you, partner. I'm keen, and I can already tell that I'll be your best friend in this forsaken camp.
Hey guys, Wheat Solo here, aka the Skeleton King. So, what do we have here? We've got, I guess it's a new summoner. Is it a new summoner, or is it just understanding that an Act 1 Merc can actually be insanely good? We're going to play the clear video first, then we're going to go into just the summons dealing some damage on their own, and just the Merc dealing damage on their own. For anyone wondering what the build is, it's pretty simple. We're going to get archers, mages, and skeleton mastery because we have that many extra skill points. Now, why archers and mages? Well, because we have all the auras. Because the main purpose of this build is to increase the damage of our Act 1 Merc. So, of course, we're going to have a Pride Iron Golem. We're going to have Templars Might on the Necro. And we're also going to hold a Beast on the Necro. Now, his FCR is way too low for my liking. In fact, I can't stand it. But if you had better corruptions or you were able to get rid of the Shako, he's wearing the Shako just because it creates the look of the Green Goblin. And I get it. That is kind of cute. And is wearing Tyreals Might actually optimal? Well, after a little bit of conversations with him, it does seem like the Act 1 Merc doesn't need full damage to be very, very effective. But basically what's going on here is the Act 1 Merc is wearing all damage gear, can hit up to 18k damage sheet, and the main key item is going to be the Demon Machine. Now that is a unique repeating crossbow, I think. I don't know what the name is for sure. But basically has a 10% chance to proc multi-shot. So if you watch her very quickly, this is the physical Merc. By the way, I've always been low-key. I've thought the physical Merc is low-key OP because they have strafe, which is just super useful for any sort of proccing thing. And these days, honestly, procs are almost as good as just having an aura bot. And then, well, except for conviction because conviction's broken. But, you know, we're not going there. If she's casting strafe all the time, she also casts slow movement, which probably actually slows the clear speed of this build down, but slow movement is incredibly useful. So as you'll see, I recommended him just to cast 2 curses with his incredibly low FCR breakpoints, but if you did have a higher FCR, you could easily get 20 Tri-Curse, and then go for Amp, Decrep, and Lower Resist. Now, you probably wouldn't cast them all the time. As you can see, this is an incredibly quick clear. If you look at the timer up on the right, this is actually from game creation. And one thing I might have to give him, this might be the fastest summoner from game creation to completing a map. Now, no one's built this live. He's starting to build it live, and his Merc is like 8k, and he says 8k is honestly functional. As long as you have a sheet damage of around 6k to 8k, and you give her a Demon Machine, she will proc multi-shot, and you can just see it all the time, and it looks incredibly cheap, to be honest. I'm gonna be honest. It looks kind of low-key OP. Now, why did we miss this? Well, I think the physical Merc casts strafe more than the Merc used to before. I don't know if I'm correct on that. Maybe I'm not. But if anybody's using an Act 1 Merc, for one, it was Vigor, well, almost always, unless you were some weird budget player. And then, I mean, some people ran Ice way back in the day, which is a really cool idea, but mainly you were just running it for Faith. I'm like, yes, there was Pus Spitter, okay, yes, and that actually was a legitimate build, for sure. No, taking away nothing from Landis 3. But people did not experiment with other rune words on the Act 1 Merc. The only ones I know of is Pus Spitter, of course, amp damage nowadays, Faith, and Ice. I don't know anything else anybody ever put on it, except maybe some retard. I don't know. But look at how quick Belial dies. Does he lose any skeletons? Let me see. Oh my god, there's too much that. I don't even think he loses a skeleton. Wow, it's impressive. Maybe the Warriors and the Merc tanked it all. I don't know how easily it is for her to die. As you can see, nothing. The IG hasn't been close to dying yet. The only thing that has been close to dying is the Merc, but she seems okay. With all the damage she's doing and all the minion support you have, it should be fine. Now, the map mods were incredibly good. In fact, it's one of the best rolled maps I've ever seen in years. This is done on pluggy, so the latency, actually, that is true. So we have to admit that there's no latency on this, while live you would have latency, and a lot of our runs were done live. And so maybe it's a little slower than we think. But this looks really, really cool, and yeah, I want to try it. Originally, he was just running the Merc. Obviously, had spare points, so he was trying Golems. Golems kind of suck. They're kind of useless. You could go Fire Golems, but then you have to kind of figure out how you're going to get a conviction on. And I think there is probably some way you could kind of spread into Elemental a little more. My idea was just, go into Archers, Mages, or Revives. And when he said he was running 20-point Skeleton Mastery, 20-point Archer, 20-point Revives, I said, well, just drop Revives because Mages are insane with Skeletal Mastery. Archers really don't need Skeletal Mastery. I thought he was dumping more into Curses. I think when he started to go more into Summons, though, he started to drop some of the Curse side of the build and just went more into the Summon side of the build because Curses, their scaling drops off as your gear gets better. In fact, I think he's even running Summon Curse Charms. But yeah, you don't need Summon Skillers. You could actually run Curse Skillers on this build if you're like budget or you want to lean more into the Curse side of the thing as support. I think there's something I really want to bring up with this, and that's the fact that I've always said a physical Merc should be one of the Mercs any group brings into their party. Yes, you want Vigor. Yes, you want Emilio. Yes, you want an Act 5 BO Merc. I get it. Probably an Act 5 Might Merc. That's only 4. Like, Prayer, sure, 5. Static Shock. It's kind of crazy that at this point in the game, I'm finally experimenting with more Mercs myself, like the Lightning Merc. Trust me, we've done a lot of play with the Cleansing Merc. Very useful, just hard to use him over Prayer. But now we've got a legitimate reason to use an Act 1 physical Merc, so that opens up another Merc slot used in groups. So if she's doing, let's say you can get her to 12k sheet damage, she would be an incredibly functional addition to any group play, P8. Again, amazing map mods, pluggy, but that was a 7-minute clear from game creation. That's really, really fast. It's one of the fastest summoners ever. Now, this is just the Merc, so you can see how much damage the Merc does. It's also kind of easier to see. Well, he's got some revives up. That's the, returned. That's what that is. Wait, what's getting returned? Maybe a Demon Machine procs revive. Maybe that's what it is. Why is he reviving? I don't know how that happened. Maybe it casts Demon Imp. That's weird. Anyways, I doubt they're doing that much damage. So you can get a good idea about how much damage the Merc actually does. And then I'm going to show you the summons by themselves so you can get an idea about how much damage they do. Like, she will just walk and things will blow up around her. Now, obviously, Crushing Blow Merc is insane and Whirlwind. Which one is better? Well, it's kind of like anything in this game. If you can start to do the same damage, but you're ranged, then you go ranged. Like, Skeletal Warriors are actually a really good summon in this game. A really, really, really good summon. I wish they had more health, but that's side note. They do good damage. The problem is this. Archers and Magers do more damage and are ranged. Now, technically, the Warriors have Splash, but you don't. It's too slow to get your Warriors always into melee range. So, yes, Whirlwind has the ability to proc Crushing Blow in a way she can't, and also do melee splash. But with the multi-shot proc, she does a conal attack that literally can clear a pack of cows in seconds, as you just saw. It's quite insane, and I think it's really cool that someone was able to come up with, further additions to Project Diablo 2 at this point. Now here is just the summons. So yes, just so if anybody was worrying, she's actually doing the majority of the damage. Now, Archers and Mages are actually a really good combination. The Warriors are just 1-point wonders at this for right now. But the reason why they're doing such little damage is because he's in the Green Goblin setup. So he doesn't have a mercenary support. He doesn't have quite the right gear to get as much skills as he needs, and that's why the skeletons are taking as long as they do. Anyways, kudos to Kariz. Is that how you pronounce your name? Karaz? Krizbiz. That's what I'm going to call you from now on. Mr. Kriz. Krizzle Manizzle Bizzle. I like how in his videos he talks about how low quality the production is, and they're like higher quality than any video I've ever made in my entire life for Project Diablo 2. So trust me, people here have a low bar for quality standards. If you might have noticed, my voice sounds different. That's because I'm using an actual microphone right now because I'm in Hawaii at my dad's house, who has kind of a faux recording studio. I'm going to be moving to Japan soon, or New Zealand, Australia. I'm not sure which one. Waiting on my passport. But until I go, and even when I go, I have some plans for Project Diablo 2. Maybe I'll go over that in a Woogs podcast, because we basically want to make one final, build clear video with some of the great builds we've come up with over the years for Necromancer. I also want to finish the Simp King. I want to do doo-doo summons really quickly. Hopefully one more video for Simp, one video for doo-doo, and then go into our non-ladder project where we just use all of our great gear and, do one final videos. Well, that's it, guys. Skelly King out. GG.
Come play with us, Daddy.